ho ho! Ho ho, I'm the Terror Claus, and my version of the word Terror Claus. Terror, I hate movies, and Claus, I love Christmas movies. You might find that confusing, but hey, that is Christmas way, and that's how Santa goes, eh? Ho ho ho, and let you know, my name is the Terror City. But yeah, so it's Christmas. Ho ho ho! Yes, Christmas! I've been waiting for this moment. So, I'm back, and thank goodness. I don't know what happened. It's been a very long hiatus. Many of you are probably saying, why the reviews? Yeah, I completely forgotten about that. Sorry, someone forgot. When I find him. So, on the subject of that, let's begin. So, I had a Christmas movie planned. However, instead of that, I'm going to instead focus on a Christmas movie that I planned instead. Since the guy's not hunting me down anymore, I can now do it. So, without further ado, let's begin. So, the film that we're about to review is none other Santa Claus 2. Santa Claus 2 is a 2002 film. It's an animated film. Oh, no. It's a family romance comedy holiday film that was directed by Michael Lembeck and stars once again Tim Allen from the first movie. It's the second installment in the Santa Claus series, and now the Santa Claus franchise is something that ran from 1994 to 2006. They've been very well-wide hits, and they've been one of the highest-grossing films out there. It all started with Santa Claus, which was released back in 2006. 1994, and it was directed by John Pasquin. I love the first movie, I really do. The first movie might not be one of the best Christmas films I've ever seen, but it's one of those movies where it's a really good origin story of how Santa was Santa. It was a really nice story. It might be slow, but it's not one of Disney's best movies, but it was really great. But however, since the film was so successful, they had to do a sequel. And, well, let's get into the plot. The plot takes place a couple of years since the first movie, where everything seems normal. Santa is doing the work as usual. Everyone loves him. However, something happens, and it turns out that he's starting to go back to how he was at the beginning of the first film. And it turns out he can't become Claus unless he marries Mrs. Claus, and we all know what Mrs. Claus is. So he goes down to our place where he has to deal with his son and get a new wife. Well, meanwhile, there's a robot Santa who's planning on ruining Christmas. So Santa has to stop him. The second movie is it's okay. It's okay. I don't think it's as great as the first movie, but I still think it's enjoyable, even if it does have flaws. Tim Allen is great as always. He really nails it here. He's probably my favourite thing about the film. He's okay as Santa Claus. He's okay as Santa Claus and the Scott character. But the reason he's the best thing about the film is when he's Robot Santa. When Robot Santa comes, he steals the show here. This guy, you can tell he's having fun playing this villain. Because this is a villain Tim Allen's playing, and it's really interesting. It's very nice to see him play the character. The moment Elizabeth Mitchell as Carol. I'm not going to talk about a lot about her, but she's basically just the love interest. She's basically just what you see in every family, Christmas, anything. She's basically just the love interest for this character. And it's mostly she starts off good, but then she just becomes just a generic love interest, and that's something that I thought the first movie handled a little bit well. Speaking of which, Bernard. Okay, so since the batteries died, we're alone. So Bernard and the head elf, who are played by different actors, which I can't know. One of them reminds me of that kid from Diary of the Wimpy Kid. Anyway, I'm getting this very subject. They were really good in this movie. Right. They were really good in this movie, and again, the best things about the film. They're really hilarious, and the chemistry between the two are really well done. I wish I could show you it, but I'm afraid of getting copyright claims. Damn Disney and YouTube. Speaking of which, okay. Speaking of which, the actor that plays Santa Claus's son, again, he's just generic. He's basically the exact same character you have seen 1,000 times before. There's nothing good about this character. I mean, in the first movie he was really good, but then after that he just becomes this very he's just a cliché character. He's basically just this boy who feels like his father's not with him a lot. He doesn't believe in Christmas. Then by the end, he's basically normal. It's just the exact same character over and over again. Christ. The rest of the cast are okay for the most part. They're basically okay, but they don't really have a lot more to do. And oh yeah, not to mention, guys, the Sandman, and everyone else. All the people we know are in this movie, but the problem with them is that they're barely in it. Which is basically why would you have them in it? The humour is really great. I will say this. The humour is hit and miss for my taste. Normally, when it's in the human world, it's a little bit hit and miss, but mostly miss. But when it's at the North Pole, that's when things really go good. Great. It's really great and really has a lot to it. Really hilarious, and I do enjoy it. Yeah, that's all I can say. So, well, okay, let's talk about some good stuff for a while, because again, this is just a mediocre film. The production design, the cast do a really good job. Yeah, there's some that can't. Yeah, hell, even some of the characters that play bad. Even some of the actors that play bad characters, they really do a good job here. The only thing that kind of brings them down is the script, which I've heard is written by 7 writers. Damn. The production designs are really great. I really enjoy the productions here. The look of the Santa's workshop is really interesting, and I did wish we could see more of this world. But hey, and the design of the reindeers are also really well done. I really like the design. Sorry, guys. Anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, the production designs. Oh yeah, this is elves. The reindeers are really great. I really like the reindeers. They really do a good job. And he's really, well, yeah. Now the problems, because it's not really a movie. The problems here is that the problems with this movie, though, is that it's not as funny as the first movie, and that's the problem. Is that the first movie probably had what writers? This is by 7 writers, people, and that's not really a good sign. And not to mention, it has everything they used to see from a kids' movie: fart jokes. It has fart jokes. Yeah, and also another problem with this movie, though, is that the film really doesn't get great until the second act arrives. The first act is okay, but it really doesn't get good until the second act. But even then, the second act has the moments with Tim Allen as Scar and the other characters, including the love interest, is really not good. It's really boring. There are some good moments, but most of it's boring. When it gets to the North Pole, that's when things really start to get up. That's when things really start to get interesting. I mean, why couldn't we have a Santa Claus movie set in the North Pole? I mean, it'll be hilarious. I mean, the moments at the North Pole are hilarious, but the moments in the human world are so bland and dull that you're bored out of your mind for it. So yeah, and another problem is that it's basically it goes by the cliches that you've seen before in every family movie. I'm not saying Santa Claus 4 didn't have. I mean, I'm not saying Santa Claus the original did that. They did, but most of it was great, and it made sense. But here but the reason there's a lot of cliches here is because there's a lot of cliche characters here. Yeah. So, do I hate this film? No. No. But, there's one thing. It's at least better than Tekken, Monsters, and The Last Airbender. That's all I can say. It's at least better than those. But despite that being better than those 3 movies, which I will never talk about, it's still not a good story. It's still not. And it's not as great as Arthur's Christmas. But, at the very least, we can enjoy Christmas. So in the end, I'm gonna give this a 6.5 out of 10. It could have been a 7. There are more good than bad, but it's mostly just not as great as the original. At least we can say that was better than the 3rd movie. So that's all I can say. So, Merry Christmas! Ho ho ho! Okay, now if you excuse me guys, I'm gonna enjoy Christmas. Yay! Adios! Do 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 do.